Okay, we are live with third period. Say hi, third period. Okay. We're going to look at question 217 on page 42. 217 on page 42. Okay, it says, how many points in the coordinate plane are 3 units from the origin and also equidistant from both the x and y axis? So we want 3 units from the origin and equidistant from the x and y axis. Well, because the origin is a point, we know that in order for it to be equidistant, we're talking about a circle. So I'm going to have it here, and I know I'm going to have a circle that's got a radius of 3. So that's a whole lot of points. But then it says it also has to be equidistant from the y and x axes. So that means it's going to be line y equals x and line y equals negative x. Because anything on this point is the same distance between x and y. So altogether, how many points intersect? There's 4. So the answer is choice 4. Number 218. The measure of an interior angle of a regular polygon is 120 degrees. How many sides does the polygon have? We talked about this yesterday. No, so there's a couple things that you can do. What we did is we talked about, if you don't know the formula and I haven't really taught it to you, all I've taught about to you is like draw the picture. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. And then we draw the triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I drew a 6-sided figure by accident. So here there's 4 triangles. 4 times 180 is 720. Divided by 6, is 120 degrees. That's our answer. Okay? If it was a pentagon, which is what I started to draw but messed up, that has 3 triangles. So we would do 3 times 180, which is 540, divided by 5, which tells us each one would be 108 degrees. So, but the answer is 6. Or choice 2. 219. In triangle ABC is shown. It tells us DE joins the midpoint of ADC and AEB. So because it joins the midpoint, we know that this is the mid segment. Because mid segments join the midpoint. Because this is the mid segment, we know that these 2 lines are parallel, and we know this is half the distance from here to here. So if this is 10, that means this whole line is 20. So it says, which statement is not true? Well, DE is, if we said that was 10, is 10 half of 20. Yes, so that's true. DE is parallel to CB. That's true. AD, which is this section, is proportional to DC. And DE, which is this section, is proportional to this section. That's the false. In order for it to be proportional, it would have had to be this piece over this piece, the green and the blue. That would have made it proportional. So that's why choice 3 is the incorrect choice. Can someone get the lights for me, please? 220, thank you very much. Is that easier to see on the board? Yeah. 220. It has, in the diagram of triangle ABC below, AB is extended, and it gives us the measurements, and it wants CAB. This is the one it wants. We've talked about the exterior angle. We know that these 2 add up to this. So we're going to do 3x plus 10 plus x plus 40 equals 6x.
And then we gotta add like factor. Right?
Yep, we add common terms. 4x
plus equals 6x. 4x minus 6x.
Yep.
Equals 2x dx. Divided by, I mean, yeah. Basically.
Okay, so what we do is we add these two up. We're recording right now. We add these two up and it has to equal this one. We combined like terms. 3x plus x is 4x. 10 plus 40 is 50. We subtracted 4x from both sides, divided both sides by 2, and we got x equals 50. But it wants CAB, so now here we have to put in our number, 25 plus 40, that equals 65.
Wait.
Because it says it wants angle CAB. Angle CAB, it says x plus 40. 20 plus 40, 25 plus 40 is 65. Good question.
I see how.
221. Which set of equations represents two circles that have the same center? So we know whatever the first one is, it's got to be the same in the second one. So this is x squared and this is x plus 4. It's not 1. Excellent. Here's x plus 3. Here's x minus 3. It's wrong again.
Why, like, you tell me why is wrong?
Because it's not the same.
It has to be the same.
So it'll be number 4.
It's number 4.
Yeah,
Minus 2, minus 2, minus 5, minus 5. $222.
You should use a highlighter.
If, sorry. Excuse me. Thank you for being quiet while we record. In triangle ABC, all right, it says triangle, so right away I'm going to draw a triangle. It won't be to scale, but at least it'll give me something to look at. It tells me A and B are congruent, and then angle C is obtuse. So if you want, you can always all of a sudden just change it up and make CB look like an obtuse triangle. It doesn't really matter. And then it says which statement is always true. Well, because these angles are the same, A and B, we know that AC and BC have to be equal measure. We also know that C is the longest, biggest angle, so this has to be the longest side. So we've got AC and AB are equal. That's not true because AB is the longest side. We have AC and BC are equal. That's true. And AB is the longest side. That is also true. So our answer is choice 2. Okay, so sometimes just drawing the picture is enough to help us. And I noticed my first sketch wasn't very helpful, so I just drew another sketch. No big deal.
Wait, hold up. Okay, you can check it.
Thank you. 223. You can cross off 224. You don't need it for our test. 223.
I actually kind of had some trouble with that one.
The equation of the line, y equals 2/3 x plus 5. We want to know perpendicular, and it needs to go through this point. In order for it to be perpendicular, we know we need the opposite reciprocal slope. So if our first slope is 2/3, our perpendicular slope is -3/2. So I know it's not going to be A. It's not going to be B, or 1 or 2. So now it's one of these two. Because it says it needs this particular point, we're going to substitute. So we're going to put in 2 in for Y, 4 in for X, and I'm just going to try number 3 first. Well, I know that 2 goes into 4 2 times. So I'm left with 2 equals -6 plus 7. Well, -6 plus 7 is 1. 2 does not equal 1, so it's not choice 3. It's got to be choice 4. We're going to skip 24. You don't need to know it. Number 225, line segment AB. Get this up. Hey. Line segment AB is the diameter of a circle O, whose center is at 6,8. What are the coordinates of point B if the coordinates of point A are 4, 2? So all we have to do is count. If we're at 4 and we go to 6, what did we do?
We went up.
We went up 2.
We added 2, right? So if we're at 6, what does that mean we're going to have to be at?
Add 8.
Yeah, add 2, so now we're at 8. If we're at 2 and we got up to 8, we added 6. So if we're at 8, we add 6 again. That gives us 14. So choice 3.
Wait, I don't understand. Go through it one more time.
Yep. So it told me the center of my circle was 6,8.
Yep.
And it told me that one of the points of the diameter was 4, 2. So I think, okay, if I'm at 6,8, if I started at 4, 2 and I went to 6,8, how did I go from 4 to 6?
You added 2.
I added 2 to get from the circle to the center.
Right.
So for me to get from the center to the other side of the circle, I'm going to have to add 2 again. 8. If I'm at 2 for my y and I go to 8 for my y, I added 6 to my y.
So you add 6 to the 8.
So I add 6 to the 8 and I get 14. If line L is perpendicular to 2 distinct planes, P and Q. So basically this is just checking slope. I highly doubt you're going to get this on the test.
Just in case.
But basically, because it's perpendicular, that means that these slopes have to be parallel.
Oh my.
And they have to be parallel because they form 90-degree angles. And we know the relationship between perpendicular parallel is opposite reciprocal. So if the slope of this line is 4, this slope has to be -1/4. And this slope has to be -1/4, which means that they're both parallel because they have the same slope. But I don't think you need this one for Georgia. 27. 1. 227. In the diagram below, we've got quadrilateral A, B, C, D. E and F are points on the line. And it tells us that B, E, and D, F are congruent. And it tells us that A, E, and C, F are congruent. And it says what can be proven. Well, it's asking, can ED and F be proven congruent? No, because we don't have anything with angles, so it's not 1. Then it says, can AB and CD be proven congruent? Yes. It can, because all we have to do is 1 plus add these 2 up and add these 2 up. So if the parts Chi1 are congruent, when we add them up, they're also going to be congruent. 228. In the diagram below of right triangle ABC, it tells us that the altitude is drawn. And it tells us that AD is 3 and DB is 12. And it wants us to find CD. Okay, so what I would say is let's turn the triangles. We've got a small triangle. So when I turn this small triangle, I've got 3 here and X here. And then I've got my bigger triangle, which has X right here and 12 down here. So all I did is I just turned this one and moved this triangle down. Now we set up a proportion. 3 over x equals x over 12. And then cross multiply. So that's our answer. You need me to talk about that again?
No. Okay.
All right.